Hello and welcome to the Hoop Collective podcast. We talk about the NBA, which we're doing just a few minutes after the Thunder's 123-107 Game 2 victory to even the finals at 1-1. I'm here with NBA veteran, 2016 Finals champion.
Yes, sir.
How often you wear your ring, Iman Shumpert?
You know, I don't wear it at all, but I've caught so much slack for being here at the finals and not having it.
Well, Richard Jefferson's wearing that Cavs ring around here. I saw it the other day.
I have to go back home, and when I go back home, it will be back and be on full display.
All right. So that was a ring-worthy performance from the Thunder tonight.
It was.
That was how they looked for most of the season. I'm sure the fans here at Paycom Center were like, that's the team that we watched for the last 6 months.
That's the team, and that's the DNA that you talk about when you start saying, why did we change our lineup?
Yeah, they kept it changed, but
I know, but that's the feeling of it when you see them play that well. It's like, why did we do that when we can do that?
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? I think that watching tonight, I think I saw Shai at least 2 or 3 times consciously say, I can get this shot up. I got to get somebody else involved.
I completely agree with you.
Like, he was very conscious tonight and he had 2 of them where it was like right there, feet in the paint, where the game 1, it was a spin, pivot, leaner, shot, fade away. Today it was survey, maybe keep the dribble, spin, pivot, kick it out to the top. Even if they missed the 3, everybody was in rhythm. Everybody felt like he trusts them. Hats off to the Thunder. They cleaned it up.
Yeah, he didn't play a bad game in Game 1, but he took 30 shots. You know, he talked yesterday on the off day about how much he worships Kobe.
Yeah.
There was a footage that came out from his camp a few years ago where he said Kobe was the best player of all time, Mike was second, and LeBron was third.
Woo,
we don't have to get into that. My point is he loves Kobe, right?
Woo.
But Shai took 30 shots in 2 of the last 3 games, and not even Kobe ever did that in his career. Not even Kobe took 30 shots in 2 out of 3 playoff games. Like, the amount of shots that Shai took, and I'm not saying he was hogging the ball. I'm just saying he was squeezing it a little tight. Mm-hmm. He only had 3 assists in Game 1. That's the fewest assists he had in any playoff game this whole season. And look, there was a lot of other stuff that went on tonight.
Yep.
But Shai took 21 shots in this game and had 8 assists. And I think that set the tone for a much more under control.
It's a way better balance. And even in the point column, I mean, what'd you miss out on? What did he have, 38 the other night?
Yeah.
You missed out on 4 points?
Yeah, well, he didn't have to play to the end. He got to come out early because this game was in hand.
But everything that we were talking about as far as getting what you want, we know that he can get what he wants. If he can't get what he wants, he can make a tough shot. So with him, it doesn't ever have to be forced. Everything can be chill. Well, not too chill, but everything can be calm. Everything can be practiced, coached. It doesn't have to look like he's pulling it out of the hat all the time, and I felt like they did a great job today. I didn't see Jalen Williams looking stuck in no man's land a lot.
He still didn't play a great game, but he was good. He was good.
He was in rhythm.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He looked like he was part of the team. It didn't look like he was just standing and then he'd get the ball and try and make something happen. Like, I love when the Thunder play without holes in their game. The ball doesn't stop moving. It always looked like they know what to do. They share the sugar, but it looks like everything is crisp. I felt like Game 1 was the first time we saw those, like, slow, lazy passes that you could steal literally because there was indecisiveness in their game. And I felt like today they were very controlled, very poised, and very hungry. Even when that third quarter started, it was like, if y'all think that we've turned it off, we have not. We're still excited. We're still ready to play. They knew they needed to send a message. I feel like the message was sent.
So when we were sitting here the other day, we saw Shai walk right by us very quickly after the game ended.
Yep.
So Scott Van Pelt is right back behind us. He does his show right behind us. They scramble out to get his set up as fast as possible to get him on the air. He walked right past Van Pelt, okay? I think Halliburton was still on Van Pelt's set. He walked right by him, and he walked into the family room. The Thunder family room is behind us at that end. The locker room is on this end, or actually the media. He did his press conference, and he comes down, and he walked right into the family room, and he told everybody in the family room, because everybody's in there is pretty nervous. You know, they watched him play, but the families were a little nervous, and he said, "It'll be all right." He was the first player in there, despite him, being the star player. He was the first player in there, or one of the first players, maybe not the first. He told them it's going to be all right. So he was already saying, chill, get myself back to neutral moments after that game.
It's crazy. Coach Cal said before the game.
Coach Calipari was here with us before the game.
He sure was. And he said that even keel and that nonchalant attitude sometimes is used to hide his teammates. And I didn't, as critical as I was of that statement, just because I think it's coming off of watching.
What did he mean by that? I don't understand.
He says that it's just another game. He does that so that if you do ridicule now,
right,
you're going to him.
It's like a defense mechanism.
It's a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
I'm already nonchalant.
Right.
I'm going to be nonchalant about this.
Right.
It's just another game.
Right.
If it is more than a game, I will deliver that message to my teammates. But right now, y'all going to deal with nonchalant.
Yeah. How do you?
Y'all got to deal with it.
Yeah.
And I didn't – initially I felt like it had to trickle down.
You wanted to tear up the locker room.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. That's me, though. You know
Right.
what I mean? That's
Yeah.
my energy. I would be the guy on that team that it would take Shai to come up to me and say,
Yeah.
oh, gee, like, just chill. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just chill. Like, I got
man.
it. But it's like my fire in my stomach wouldn't allow that after we threw something like that away. I mean, I could get past it at 30 minutes after, but I'm definitely tearing the locker room.
Well, I remember going into a Heat locker room after a playoff loss one time and seeing ice all over the floor.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it was our man UD who did it. We should ask him about that.
Udonis Haslam.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, but yeah, Shai, that's their style. Get back to neutral.
But I love that because that's still the leadership of that to say, let me hurry up and be first. Because usually he's always like middle to last.
Yeah, he's getting his
He got
stuff
to get his
ready.
treatment.
Yeah,
He got to
yeah.
do his thing. Media's
Well, you
usually
saw how
takes
fast
along.
he came out the other
That's
day.
what I'm saying.
Our podcast barely started. He was out here.
But to go out there and address the family room,
Yeah.
and those are usually the closest people to the locker room because
Yeah.
they get the trickles of the conversations
For
that come out of
sure.
the locker room. For him to go in there and corral them, understanding that they have the ears of his team,
Yeah.
that shows me a different level of maturity. I'm not going to completely take it back, Shai. Shout out
Hey,
to you for knowing your personnel.
You do you. You gotta do you.
For
Yeah.
sure. I'm going to do me.
I heard you say to Cal, how come you didn't come recruit me out of Chicago?
Because he started naming a lot of guys, like, that guy played for me, that guy played for me, that guy played. I'm like, bro, I ain't really get too many letters and calls from you, though, Cal. Well, I'm not that good.
you were good. I believe you were a first-round pick, sir. So Halliburton,
Struggled.
it didn't look like a bad game because he had 17 points, but he had 12 of those in the fourth quarter.
That's what I'm saying. That box score doesn't look bad. That looked
Right.
bad today. That was the first time I saw him.
So he's
Today he looked bad.
he's 7 of 13 with 6 assists, 17 points, but he had he had 12 of the 17 in the fourth quarter.
No. It was 3-3-3. He was at 3-3. Well, wait, it was 3-3-5.
He had 5 turnovers. Yeah.
Yeah, 3-3-5.
He had 3 points.
And then 3 points. So it's
Yeah.
3-3-3-5. 3-3-3-5.
For 3 quarters, basically.
And it's like, bro, unacceptable.
Yeah.
And not unacceptable in the regard of you're not shooting it well. Don't shoot it well. We've seen you do that. Since when have you not rebounded the ball?
Right.
And to me, that felt like something's going on in your head. Don't get me wrong. Granted, he's been playing his ass off. You are allowed to take one game and have some hiccups happen.
Yeah.
But if they're going to be successful, especially when they get back to Indiana, I need to see in the defensive rebound column 6 to 8 rebounds when the third quarter comes, because that'll let me know he's getting push outs, he's getting run outs.
When he gets the rebound and he can go, that makes a big difference for them. So Chet Holmgren had he had a dog game, a dog first finals game. You could tell he came back. First off, they played double big a little bit more. That's something they hadn't been. Hartenstein and Chet played together a little bit. And by the way, they went from minus 17 in rebounds in game one to plus 8 in rebounds. That's a 25 rebound swing.
Yep.
But Chet got it going from the first quarter.
Yeah. And that's what we were looking for. That's what we were talking about. If the Thunder are playing Thunder basketball, he's able to score efficiently, and it should look effortless. It should look like he's just part of it. He can attack closeouts. He can get out there. What I was impressed with was the amount of times in transition he was with them, the amount of deflections that they got. Cason Wallace, I thought, played great minutes.
Yeah.
Great minutes.
So did Kendrick Williams.
Yeah, I just
Kendrick
felt
Williams
like
played 7 minutes, was plus 15.
Yeah, for guys that haven't, gotten the
Cason Wallace was their best plus-minus guy in the whole starting lineup, plus 12. You're exactly right. He played good minutes.
That's what I mean. It was just it's the way they go about plugging somebody in, and then they don't have to worry about getting that guy up to speed. I just love that. First off, I love that about the finals period because both these teams do that. They plug guys in that you're like, I don't know if this is time to just throw somebody in with no rhythm.
Right.
And you see them playing, and they're playing for them. They're looking for them. It's like they know each other. It's like I don't know if they run different lineups in practice, and everybody's just comfortable.
The Thunder play different lineups all year long. He's always changing his lineups so that when he gets to the finals, people are comfortable.
I'm sorry. There's no way I could wait till the finals and do that. Hats off to them for doing it.
Richard Jefferson just walked by wearing his ring, Shump. You gotta. He's got better security than you do, but sorry.
Oh,
you were
man.
talking.
But when I also look at this, I look at Hartenstein plus 17.
Yeah. Their bench killed Indy tonight.
He didn't have to play in the starting lineup to be productive.
Yeah, 8 rebounds.
Exactly. When you look at stuff like that and you see the plus minus, you start to understand how much of a lineup attacks the adjustment on the other end, or how much just having a guy out there to – sometimes Hartenstein's greatest attribute is being big, running down here, and it takes 2 of yours to block him out.
Yeah.
Now somebody else gets an offensive rebound. Somebody gets a tap. Somebody gets something to happen. And I think that capitalizing off the broken play was an obvious thing for the Thunder today.
Yeah, and so also off their bench, Caruso hits 4 threes. Aaron Wiggins, huge game, Aaron Wiggins. You like that?
You know what? I didn't used to like it. I like it for the Thunder. When he used to do it on the Lakers, I ain't all the way understand it. I'm here now.
Well, your hair is doing much better than his. He's trying to put something up there.
Hey, I'm with you now. Caruso, I'm with you now. When you do it like
Caruso
it's like
was an absolute hellion on defense in this game.
Yeah.
He drove them. This was an apex Caruso game because he's just being an absolute pest on defense. He didn't get credited with a steal, but my God, it felt like he affected so much stuff.
Deflections.
And then he hits those threes.
Mm-hmm.
He was a hellion. I thought he was huge. And then Aaron Wiggins, 5 threes. I mean, Aaron Wiggins has never played a more impactful game in his career than he did tonight.
But like you were saying, they are prepping their guys for these moments. It seems unorthodox when I watch it. I don't know if I'm jealous that I wasn't around for the game to be like this, because I'm like, oh, this wouldn't happen on the Cavs. You know what I mean?
Because everything was regimented. Is that what you mean?
Everything was just so. You knew that at the end of the game, we're gonna get shots from one of 3 guys. You know what I mean?
One of 2. A lot of times, but yeah.
One of 2, but I always said 3 because it could either be a JR or a Kevin Love that, we know who the ball is going to, but if you make an error on defense or you send a double, the person that's going to make you pay is a shooter. So I'll always say 3 guys because we know if you do a great job playing defense on our star, they're going to deliver that ball to him, and when you make that mistake, it's a 3 in the NBA.
So Don Nelson, legendary coach, Hall of Fame coach, he's 85 years old. He was inducted, or he was honored before the game with the Chuck Daly Award, Lifetime Achievement Award, and he did a press conference before the game, and he talked about how much he loves watching these 2 teams because this is the way he wanted to play, small and fast. Well, they're bigger than he ever had.
Right.
And fast. He loves watching the 2 of them play. He also, by the way, wore Luka's shoes and announced that he's wearing them as a protest for the Mavericks trading. just in case you want to know. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. He's like, this is how I wanted to play.
Yeah.
And I love watching the 2 teams. And that's what you're talking about. You're saying that if you were – because, I
feel like that's what I got to do.
You could have played a game like Aaron Wiggins if you were –
Without a doubt. I got to play – that's the way I felt like I got to play when I got traded to Sacramento. I got to play upbeat. I got to play next to De'Aaron Fox. Probe with the ball, do whatever I wanted, knowing I could throw it to him, and now he gets to go downhill off
people
a closeout.
Forget you played point guard.
For sure.
Early in your New York Knicks days, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
But in that, if you had this type of system that they're running now, where OKC and Indiana, they both play a free. If you would have taken away somebody, I become the point guard, and then it doesn't matter if I'm playing point guard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like it was a little more open. I feel like the game changed into that, which I love that. I'm not mad at it anymore. You know, back then I was mad, but not anymore. I just love the constant change of basketball to get better. But, yeah, watching them, I think I am a little envious that it's like, wow, bro, this is –
They would have wanted you – if you played now, they would have wanted you to shoot 7 to 10 threes a game. They'd be like, Shump, shoot that ball.
That's fine as long as I can shoot my pull-up. Like, if I could shoot the Tyrese Halliburton, the nice little pull-up at 15 to 18 feet, like I always like playing that top of the key game, playing at the elbow. If I could play like that, y'all want 7 threes, I'll chuck a couple of threes up. That's fine. But I love their balanced attack. I love that nobody hangs their head. There's no, man, make that a three. I've never seen this team say, that got to be a three. They be having their toe right on the line. Don't nobody get mad. They just all pump their fists and get up to play defense. Yeah. And I love that about them. I love that about OKC. OKC today had very short memory.
Right.
I thought they did a couple of times where they play good defense. They get an offensive rebound. We watched in game 1, OKC, you felt that happen. Just toward the end, by the way, because they were in control of game 1. But down the stretch, you could see them get deflated when something like that would happen.
The Pacers made a couple of runs in this game, especially in the second half.
And they did not care.
And OKC just pushed them back.
Real talk.
So now let me ask you this. What do you think the mindset for the Pacers should be? Obviously, they come here, they go 1-1. But how do you they've been outplayed a majority of the minutes. Now, it doesn't matter what the majority of the minutes are. What matters is the score. But they were outplayed a majority of the minutes. How would you feel if you were them?
If I'm Indiana, we're playing into the energy of the crowd when we get home, because that's what we stole game 1 for. I'm also coming in with the mindset that we only expected to get 1 of 2. We didn't expect to get 1 that early, but we expected to get 1 of 2 right here to put ourselves in position. So if you're Indiana, though we didn't play well today, you sit there and say, hey, man, we did exactly what we came to do, and there's no way our guy plays bad when we get to Indiana.
Right.
There's zero chance.
One thing I will say, so the Pacers in the second half, and it never got, I think the closest maybe it got was 12 maybe. In the second half, the Pacers did score 66 points again. Mm-hmm. They shot 54% in the second half. You didn't feel it because the Thunder held on to their composure.
They responded to everything. Every run they responded.
But the Pacers did have a very offensively strong second half in this game.
Yeah.
So they've, I don't know what that's worth, but boy, Perk is just screaming. Perk, there's a microphone, Perk. My God. God.
Love it.
Damn.
I love it, though.
You want to know why?
It's the passion.
It's because he's a Thunder at heart.
It's the passion behind Kendrick Perkins. But seeing Tyrese Halliburton also finally find some wiggle room to play a little better, if I'm Indiana, I do feel a lot better knowing that, because there's something about of course, they say all the time, you can't take those points with you. You can't take this with you. You can't take that with you. There is a mental advantage to know, man, I just felt like it was a lid on the rim. I didn't play well. I didn't perform well, but I did figure it out. Today I didn't come back with a miraculous comeback into a buzzer beater, but I didn't stop playing. I didn't stop rebounding. I didn't stop sharing the sugar. Might not always lead to an assist, but I played the right way. That has to feel good for Tyrese Halliburton to clean it up at the end, be able to look at the stat sheet and say he didn't do nothing out there. And then saying confidently, I'm going to go into this next game and I'm going to play well. Obi is not going to play – Obi Tippins not going to play terrible like that again.
Perk.
I'm not sure what's making him so excited.
Settle down.
But my boy is going up an octave.
He's got to check his hearing. So I'm going to say this. Halliburton in the last 2 years against this team, he averaged 11 shots a game. Yep. This year and last year. First 2 games, he got 13 shots. When they are at their best is when Halliburton gets up over 20 points. They're 8-1 when he scores over 20 points. But when they've got Lou Dort or Caruso on him or Casey Wallace, he can't get shots up.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, I think the first thing for Tyrese Halliburton, he's got to get some shots. Like, 13 shots is not enough for him.
But it's 13 shots. I don't want it to be these unaggressive threes. He had at least 3 threes today that I felt like were just unaggressive, whatever threes. If you make them, cool, but you really didn't do much to have those shots go in. They weren't within the flow. They weren't what we've been used to seeing out of him, where it's like you've been going downhill so much that they're backing off so much that you got all the time in the world to line that thing up, get your elbow on the lip of the rim. I would like to see them.
Well, what does that mean, get your elbow on the lip of the rim? I've never heard that before.
People sometimes, like, if you're getting ready to shoot before the ball's all the way up, like they say your elbow wasn't on the. But if you can look
the way you look, you see it.
The way you see it, if you can see your elbow already on the rim, like
you're at the apex of your shot. Yeah.
So it's all about getting that lift and getting that on there. But I say that with Tyrese because you see him look at his elbow almost before he shoots a shot.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where the comfortability. It's like just to line it up.
You know when he's doing that, he's feeling good.
Yeah, but it was like I just saw, like, he was like looking at the rim and like hoping it went in, and it was I've never seen him do that where he's looking and just hoping. Like, usually he looks like, I'm under control, they don't get it, but I do. And today it looked like he was searching a little bit. He looked like a little bit of no man. He looked like Jalen Williams from Game 1 to me. And I can't imagine him having another game like that. But I think that the way Rick Carlisle could help him, crazy that Perk was just standing here. If they could set that Perk screen where they come up the big, because OKC's bigs do a great job of getting up and showing different coverages, right?
They push them out of their offense, really, yeah.
Sometimes they'll go into a little drop with you, a 1-2 dribble drop to let their guy get back. But they are usually up to touch with their man. When doing that, if Indiana could just set that screen, but you set the screen on the big, you never screen the guard. Halliburton can do it in and out or whatever and just get downhill. But I understand what you're saying. He needs something easy. He gets something easy for everybody else. He needs something easy. Get into the lane, quick layup, floater, whatever, 2 feet in the paint to where he can establish himself in the first quarter.
So the thing about Halliburton is he's not an elite scorer.
No.
He averages 18 points. Like, that's great, don't get me wrong, but he's not in the top 30 in scoring. But when he does score, by the way, when he gets 20 points in the postseason, he also averages 10 assists.
Without doubt.
So it's not just one or the other. When he's super aggressive looking for his shot, it opens up his whole game. Mm-hmm. So, frankly, he needs a 20-10 game, in Game 3.
Right.
And they got to find a way to get him, because he's not generating the chances against this team.
How much of it do you feel like has to be implemented from Rick Carlisle?
It's been a lot of games now where what they're doing is not getting him enough.
Yeah.
Because Siakam only had 11 shots. He went 3 of 11. He wasn't at his best tonight. He had that one stretch in the second quarter where he was looking for his shot a little bit. They run a democratic offense. They don't really run stuff for individual players. That's not the way they play. Like, they're perfectly happy if Nesmith gets as many shots as Halliburton if they win. But I'm just telling you, the way this team guarantees a victory is by getting over 110 points. They're like undefeated when they get over 110 points. They didn't get there tonight, 107.
Yeah, but they didn't defend tonight. Not like that. Not like we've seen Indiana defend in previous years, previous games, in the playoffs, period. We have not seen them have a game where they let guys just do whatever. I don't feel like their defense was on a string tonight. They had moments where they gave the effort that you see out of them. I don't want to say they didn't play hard. They weren't 5 guys on a string tonight defensively.
Yeah. Well, 123, what they gave up.
Oh, yeah.
And, look, they scored 66 in the second half. Like I said, that's enough. That's enough. But they weren't able to get enough stops themselves because the Thunder shot 49%. He had 14
they
threes.
started down they saw 20. They were down 20 in the first half.
Yeah.
So seeing that, playing catch up, they never got within striking range. I think that's what we were talking about.
So that was the difference. So they were down, I think, 19 at the half today, 19 or 20, 19, I think. Game 1, they were down 12. That's a big difference. So now in the second half, when you get it down to 12, it would have been down to like 3-4. So the Thunder were able to push it out a little bit. That was something they didn't do.
Especially
in game
that what was that third quarter for that 12-0 run? Was it?
Yeah.
That 12-0 run. That one. That's what killed them for me. And what's odd is even when I saw that, and in my mind I'm like, that's the one right there. That's the run that kills. Indiana still scares me. Yeah. It's very weird. As bad as they were playing, they still, everything that they do when they come down, they just throw a pass, and I think throw a pass and make a shot. I always think, maybe we need another 6 to put them away. Maybe you need another 4 to put them away. And I think that Indiana has to play off of that. I think they have to play off of that danger that they are never truly out of a game.
Right.
And they have to play into that. They have to lean into that.
Well, there was a moment in the first half. I think they got down by 23. That was like the biggest lead. Okay. Indiana goes on a 10-0 run. Okay, they cut it down to 13, or give or take, and Thunder called timeout, and they immediately get like 5 or 6 straight out of that timeout to push it back up. That's something that they didn't do in Game 1. When Indiana came at them, they weren't able always to hold them off. So they pushed it back. So they were just more comfortable. You could just tell they played their game. By the way, I think that a really important stat on the Thunder, they're 17-2 now. They only had 19 losses all year. They're 17-2 after losses.
Yeah.
They're 5-0 in the playoffs after losses.
Wow.
Like, that's how you want to avoid getting beat. That's how you don't lose multiple games in a row. That's how you
in Indiana the same?
Well, Indiana's
with the no 2-game thing?
Yeah, they hadn't lost two in a row in like 60 days until the last round.
That's what I mean. They're very. It's amazing how these two teams match up on paper.
Yeah.
I think that if I'm Indiana, one, I'm gonna tell my guys we should have way more rebounds because we're getting way more stops. We just didn't get any.
Yeah, the rebounding was way better for OKC today.
But we have to get stops to get rebound. If the shot's going in, it ain't no rebound.
Right. Like,
that's the issue, guys. We're not. There's no defensive rebounds to get. Like, I want to say that y'all didn't rebound. That wasn't the case. Y'all rebounded. There just wasn't any available because y'all didn't get stops.
Right.
And you can't just string one stop together. You got to string 3 stops at a time. 3 stops in a row or it doesn't count. That's got to be their mindset.
Yeah, well, they also need – by the way, they had 6-7 guys in double figures tonight. They just didn't have a – they just didn't have a really guy – they didn't have a guy get hot. They needed a guy to get hot, and wasn't there. So yeah. But it's a series, Shump.
It's definitely a series. It's exciting now. We're going to head to Indiana. That's a tough arena to play in. I'm interested in this. Game 3 is going to be a very interesting game. One, because I want to see how the Thunder play on the road in the finals, just flat out. I want to see if they also use that lineup on the road. Something tells me they won't. I would go back to my old lineup just to play off it, but I know they probably won't do that.
The double big lineup was very effective tonight. They didn't play for that many minutes, but it was effective.
Yeah, but
you may want to start with a lineup that's very effective because you're going to be on the road. You don't want to get behind.
I get it. We'll see. It should be interesting. Or go out there and just start my guy Caruso.
That would start as well. Would help as well.
Whatever. Start my guy Caruso.
All right. So Game 3 is Wednesday night. We'll be here with the Hoop Collective, me and Shump. Day of Game 3, the Tims will be back for a podcast that runs on Wednesday. Until then, Shump, look forward to it. Safe travels up to Indiana.
Same to you.
We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching Hoop Collective.